This was my bit of comedy for this morning. Everybody in this video, the auditor and the cops, all have their heads firmly entrenched in their rectums. It's quite funny listening to the captain try to explain. You got your Fourth Amendment. So because you're here, that means your Fourth Amendment. That means you're under arrest. Anyway, so some silly things. This guy says that the Georgia Supreme Court says that he can record in city halls for some reason. I don't think so. I would love to see a case that says that any public building, any building that's open to the public in Georgia, you can record in. I did find their Open Meeting Act. Meetings open to the public. So if there is a meeting and if it's open to the public and if it meets all these definitional requirements, then you can record it. Visual and audio or visual and sound recordings during open meetings shall be permitted. But I couldn't find anything suggesting or implying that you can film in a public building just and not be like trespassed from it. I couldn't find anything like that. So legal researchers, legal research, put it down in the comments below. Tell me where the Georgia Supreme Court has said something on topic about this. He goes on to say that you can't be trespassed from a public building in Georgia unless you've committed a crime. I also could not find anything on that. This is 16-7-21. This is their criminal trespass. There's nothing in here about having to commit a crime first for a public building. Again, I don't know. Maybe there is something in there about in like case law about it, but I couldn't find anything. So again, legal researchers, legal research, put it down in the comments. One thing I do like though is to kind of give you guys an idea of how these things work. This is an element chart, which I love these things. So you go from this big old block of text to this little one right here. These are the elements that the prosecution needs to prove. Or if you're the defense, that you need to knock one of these out. Doesn't matter which one you knock out, you just got to knock one of them out. So element 0, needs to be in the county, and it needs to be the person. So it's got to be this bearded fella, and you had to do it in the county. And they proved that by saying it was in the city hall, which is in this county, and it was this guy. You know, we identified him, and they will identify him. I don't know if they've identified him yet. And then you have 1. So you notice that zeros don't have a little number or letters behind them because you need both of those. But then 1A, it's 1A or 1B. So you had to enter or remain. And then 2, A, B, C, or D, they're all connected by ors. You need one of them in a building is fine. So you had in the county, the named defendant remained in a building, and then 3, the defendant did so without permission or authority. And they all agree that he was asked to leave. So why they didn't get him on trespass, I don't exactly know. I mean, I'm not suggesting that they should get him on trespass. I'm just saying that they could have. But like I said, it was a real Keystone Cop scenario going on in here. And finally, as far as IDing, so this is what I gathered the cops were going for, that he was a suspicious person. And so they get to ID him. And that is Georgia Code 16-11-36. It's loitering. You commit the offense of loitering or prowling when you're in a place, at a time, or in a manner not usual for law-abiding individuals under circumstances that warrant a justifiable and reasonable alarm or immediate concern for the safety of persons or property in the vicinity. Now, you can argue that just filming wouldn't rise to that level. You could make a reasonable argument about that. And that's what his lawyer will probably end up doing, is trying to say that just filming doesn't justify a reasonable alarm or immediate concern for the safety of persons or property. But then it goes on to say, among the circumstances which may be considered in determining whether an alarm is warranted, or the fact that a person takes flight upon the appearance of a law enforcement officer, refuses to identify himself, or manifestly endeavors to conceal himself or any object. So refusing to identify yourself is considered to be what warrants the alarm. There you go. Unless flight by the person or other circumstances make it impractical or impracticable, a law enforcement officer shall, prior to arrest for offense under this code section, afford the person an opportunity to dispel alarm or immediate concern which would otherwise be warranted by requesting the person to identify himself and explain his presence and conduct. The Keystone cops apparently were trying to get him to identify himself. They went over it. And he was like, well, what crime are you suspecting me of? And they said, it's a suspicious person. I almost guarantee this is what they're pointing to. They're just not intelligent or educated or articulate enough, one of the three, to verbalize it appropriately. I think they knew what they were trying to get at, but they just couldn't put words make thinky pain. So no person shall be convicted of an offense under this code section if the law enforcement officer failed to comply with the foregoing procedure, or if it appears at trial that the explanation given by the person was true and would have dispelled the alarm or immediate concern. So it does appear that this is what they were going for, which is a crime in and of itself. It is apparently a misdemeanor. Now notice it doesn't say that you can't film or photograph. It doesn't say that you have to be committing a crime. It just says you have to be hanging out somewhere under circumstances that warrant a justifiable and reasonable alarm or immediate concern for the safety of persons. And then that alarm is warranted if you refuse to identify yourself. So we'll see how far that goes. I wish this bearded fella all the best of luck. I thought it was hilarious. So he's in there at some point in there. He goes, basically, like, you're just doing this because I'm white or something like that. I was about to die. Oh, it's hilarious. Anyway, it's good. I'll link it. It's long. But if you watch it at 2 times speed, it makes the accents even more hilarious. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a great day.